Greetings, Taurus. This is Will from Tarot Forecast, and this is going to be your general reading for the week of the 22nd through the 28th of March, right here at the end of the month. Yesterday we had a pretty important astrological event. There was an eclipse in Pisces, right at the end of the zodiac. It's kind of a good time to get rid of a lot of old things, old structures, and wash yourself clean and start anew. The eclipse is also a really good time to kind of create an ending for anything, whether it be an old relationship, an old state of mind, bad habits, self-destructive thinking, that kind of thing. It's really an opportune time to put those things in the past, and we can actually have the assurance that they will stay in the past. It's a good time for that. So what I've done here, to kind of respect your time, just to make these readings a little bit more short, I've actually gone ahead and shuffled their tarot cards here, and I've pulled three that are going to kind of describe our situation and maybe give you some advice for the upcoming week. And I think it's really interesting here because the first card that we have is the Four of Pentacles. As we can see here, we have a man who's kind of hoarding his possessions, or hoarding these Four Pentacles. He has two underneath his feet just to make sure that nobody even gets them, as well as he's hugging one here close to his chest. I think that you need to be cognizant of the things that you are keeping close to you. It sounds like you're really hoarding maybe a lot of relationships or habits, structures, ways of thinking, attitudes that really no longer serve you. I think there are a lot of things that kind of need to go. You really need to do some spring cleaning. And I think, obviously this energy has kind of a meta effect over all of your life, but I think really there are some relationships that I think need to kind of come to an abrupt end. Again, this reading is going to be for Taurus if you have a sun in Taurus, or if your ascendant is Taurus. You should watch the other video for your sign as well. For example, if your sun is in Taurus, you should watch the video for your ascendant. Or if your ascendant is Taurus, you should watch the video for your sun sign. But I think that there are a lot of relationships, interpersonal things that need to go. There are some people here who have maybe served their purpose and who have taught you the lesson that they're teaching you, but for whatever reason, they're still around, and it's maybe time for them to go and make room for the next lesson and the next group of teachers that you have in your life. I think your challenge for this week is identifying who those people are and maybe putting those relationships back into context. I don't want to say that you need to get rid of them completely, but definitely reframe them. And, things that are no longer serving you, I think it's time for them to kind of go on their way. The reason I say that is because we have this Death card here. The Death card, being of the major arcana, is pretty heavy. It talks a lot about getting rid of old structures. Everything that I've been saying here, getting rid of old structures, making the way for new things. Obviously, things have to be done away with before we can ever expect new things to come into our lives. And this is really the doing away with part of that. It's definitely time for a lot of things to kind of be put away and put into the past. Death is obviously the great purifier. It cleans house, and it gets rid of everything that is no longer serving us and no longer is fulfilling a purpose in our lives. I'm a big believer that we should only keep things around that are meaningful. And I think that the energy is that there are a lot of things maybe in your life that are no longer meaningful, that, it's definitely time for us to get rid of those things and put them in the past. I say us because I'm a Taurus myself, and I definitely know that this is true. It's definitely time to do some spring cleaning in a big way. And we see here the ultimate outcome of the week is the Fool. And I think that this is perfect. It really goes along with the Death card really, really well, in the sense that the two are, follow each other. The Fool talks a lot about new beginnings, hope, regeneration, prosperity. Obviously that's kind of the other side of the death card with things being created, being born anew. I think that there are a lot of, I know for myself, I mean, it's definitely time to put a lot of old relationships in the past and kind of put things behind us. And I think it's definitely an opportune time to do that in this upcoming week. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to take some Lenormand cards, and I'm going to place 3 for each one of these cards that we have here. And that's going to give us a little bit more information here about the upcoming week, and to maybe clarify these cards a little bit further. So we have the anchor. Letter. The key. All right. I definitely think that these cards are talking about specifically a relationship. I think that you're actually in contact with somebody that you've been in contact with for a while. I think it's become a very important part of your life. This person, whoever it is, or your communication with this individual is something that's pretty important to you. I think that you're maybe hoping that something will come of this. I don't think it will. I mean, I think specifically that it's probably time for you to cut contact with this individual. And I think it's somebody who's not really good for you. The impression that I'm getting from these cards is that it's a relationship solely based on a lot of talk and maybe not a lot of action. Yeah, the snake. The waves. The bear. Yeah, I think that this is, you would be well advised to make a decision about this. I think that a lot of this, I think that you're in a place where you've, maybe with this individual, it sounds like it's somebody that you know that you've been in contact with for a while. And I don't know if maybe you're hoping the relationship will blossom into something different, or I think you've become reliant on this person very much, and it's something that is kind of weighing very heavily on you. There's somebody in your life that you've become very much reliant on, and it's time for you to reevaluate that relationship. Obviously, depending on other people is something that's very natural, and that's not a bad thing in itself, but it's also good to kind of reframe these relationships and to put them into context. And I think that this is something that's maybe no longer serving you. I think that something about the relationship is actually very duplicitous. Maybe you don't, I don't think that you're both kind of in the same mindset, or maybe you have a different approach to how things should be between you and this person, and it's not looking like a healthy situation. It looks like there's a lot of codependency maybe happening in your life right now. And so we have the book, the tree, and the child. I think it's to me, the tree for me talks a lot about karma and spiritual health, and the book is the lessons that we need to learn. And I think you're still dwelling on this lesson. I think things have played out, or it's time for things to come to their natural conclusion. The child talks a lot about a new beginning, and it complements the fool very, very well, just as the tree does, in the sense that it's it's the completion of a karmic lesson, and the completion of a round of trials that you've had to go through. And I think it's time to put these things into the past. I think that maybe if you're in a relationship, if you are part of a couple, it's not a healthy situation. And I think that it's very opportune that we have this, the Pathways card or the Crossroads card right here in the middle. I think it's time for you to reevaluate whether or not this relationship is serving you, and whether or not this relationship is serving its purpose. Is this something that's causing you more harm than good? Is it stressing you? Is it a point of anxiety in your life? If so, it's something that's got to go. There's no real natural conclusion that is good. The best thing for you to do is to create an ending. And I think that's what we're seeing here. And I think that's the primary energy in your life. Thank you so much for joining me, Taurus. I hope this was a help. I hope this helped you. Again, I would encourage you to watch the other video for the other zodiac sign that is a part of your life. And thanks again.